If your life is collapsing, you're not broken. You're not being punished. You're not doing it wrong. You're outgrowing a timeline that was built on an older version of your nervous system. And I know how it feels. It feels like the floor vanished, like you woke up inside someone else's life, like the people who used to get you suddenly don't, like money gets weird, like your body gets loud, like your plans stop working, like the universe is pulling pieces off the table while you're still trying to finish the game. Here's the truth they don't tell sensitive souls. Awakening doesn't just change your beliefs, it changes your frequency. And when your frequency changes, your entire environment either recalibrates or it can't come with you. That's why it feels like collapse. Because what you're calling my life falling apart is often your old structure failing to hold the new signal you're broadcasting. You didn't lose the plot, you changed the station, and the old world is static now. Most people think timelines are sci-fi, but timelines in lived reality are simpler than that. A timeline is the set of patterns you keep repeating, the choices you keep making, the self you keep reinforcing, the emotional defaults your body returns to, the tolerances you accept, the stories you obey. A timeline is not just what happens to you. A timeline is what you keep agreeing to. So when you awaken, your agreements start dissolving. And that can look like chaos. It can look like you're losing everything. But look closer. You're losing what required you to stay small, stay quiet, stay numb, stay available, stay in survival. This is why, after awakening, relationships can crack. Not because you became too spiritual, because your body stopped lying. Your nervous system stopped tolerating what it used to endure. Your energy used to squeeze itself into rooms that didn't fit. Now it refuses. And that refusal feels like collapse if you still believe your worth depends on being accepted by the old room. Let me make it grounded. Your nervous system is the instrument. Your frequency is the music. When the instrument is dysregulated, the music becomes erratic. When the instrument stabilizes, the music becomes coherent. And coherence is powerful. Coherence is disruptive. Coherence changes what can stay near you. A sensitive person who becomes coherent is a walking truth field, and everything built on distortion starts shaking. That's why you feel like you're too much. That's why you feel like people misunderstand you. That's why you feel like you're alone in the shift. Because you're not just changing your mind. You're changing your baseline, your energetic resting place, the frequency your life organizes around. And when that baseline rises, some things can't grip you anymore. Old coping mechanisms, old identities, old money patterns, old friends who needed you to be the version of you that never asked for anything, old workplaces that fed on your compliance, old family scripts that only worked when you stayed in your assigned role, the weird one, the sensitive one, the one who overgives, the one who should just be grateful, the one who doesn't make waves. But you're making waves now, not because you're trying to, because your spirit is breathing again. Here's another thing. Collapse often happens when you're between timelines. There's a corridor phase, the in-between, the liminal space. The old life isn't holding, the new life isn't fully formed, and your nervous system hates that phase because the nervous system wants predictability, it wants certainty, it wants something to grip, so it tries to interpret the void as danger. That's when you spiral, that's when you think, I ruined everything. That's when you think, I'll never be okay. That's when you think, what if I made a mistake? No, you entered the corridor. This corridor is not a punishment. It's a recalibration chamber, and the way through isn't forcing answers, it's building capacity, because timeline shifts don't happen just because you want them. They happen when your system can hold them. A new timeline is simply a life where your body can stay regulated while you choose what's true. That's it. That's the gate. So let's talk about why it feels physically intense. When you change frequency, you're changing your pattern of safety. A lot of us built our whole personality around survival, around reading the room, around keeping the peace, around being easy, around not being a burden, around not being judged, around not being abandoned. That survival self was smart. It kept you alive, but it also kept you in timelines that matched its fear, because fear is a frequency too. Fear makes you choose familiar pain over unfamiliar freedom. So when awakening hits, it doesn't just offer you new ideas. It removes the anesthesia. You start feeling what you used to override. You start noticing where you leak energy. You start noticing how drained you get around certain people. You start noticing how your body tightens when you betray yourself, and you can't unknow it. That's the moment the old timeline starts losing its glue. If your life is collapsing right now, I want you to stop asking, "What's wrong with me?" and start asking a better question. What is my system no longer willing to carry? Because that answer is the map. Now I'm going to give you a 3-step practice, not a fluffy visualization, a real practice. Something you can do even when you're fried, even when you're overwhelmed, even when your mind is loud. This is how you stabilize in the corridor and start choosing the next timeline consciously. First step, name what ended without making it mean you failed. Say it plainly, out loud if you can. This relationship is ending. This job is ending. This version of me is ending. This city is ending. This identity is ending. This strategy is ending. Then add one line, and I release the story that it means I'm being punished. Because the nervous system clings to meaning, and if the meaning is I'm bad, you will drag yourself back into the old timeline just to stop the pain of shame. So we remove shame first, not with affirmations, with truth. The truth is, endings happen when your frequency changes and your old agreements dissolve. The truth is, you are not here to keep everything. You are here to become yourself. And anything that requires self-betrayal to keep is not meant to be kept. Second step, stabilize the instrument before you interpret the message. Do not try to figure out your life while your body is in alarm. That is how sensitives create nightmare timelines. You make decisions from cortisol. You send texts from panic. You chase people from abandonment. You spend money from desperation. You vow things from collapse. So here's the stabilizer. Put one hand on your sternum, one hand low on your belly. Inhale through the nose for 4. Exhale through the mouth for 6. Do that 5 times. Slow, not dramatic, not forced. While you exhale, imagine you're letting your shoulders drop 1 millimeter at a time. You're telling your body, we are not dying, we are transitioning. And then ask your body one question. What do you need in the next 2 hours? Not the next 2 months, not the next year, the next 2 hours. The next 2 hours might be water, food, a shower, A nap, a walk, silence, a boundary, a reset, a single completed task. This is how you build the bridge. You stop trying to teleport. You build nervous system reality. Timeline shifts are built in small, regulated moments, not in big, dramatic declarations. Third step. Choose one timeline anchor and act on it today. A timeline anchor is a single decision that signals your new frequency to reality. It can be a boundary. I'm not available for that. It can be a truth. I'm done pretending. It can be a practice. 2 minutes a day to seal my energy. It can be a move. I will apply to one job. It can be a release. I will stop chasing what isn't choosing me. Pick one, only one, then do the smallest version of it today. Not because it fixes everything, but because it tells the universe, and more importantly, your own nervous system, we are not going back to the old agreement. This is the part most people skip. They want the new timeline to arrive first so they feel safe. But safety comes second. Safety is built by showing yourself you can keep your word in the corridor. So today, choose your anchor and make it real. Now, I want to speak directly to the part of you that is grieving. Because yes, sometimes the collapse is sacred. And yes, sometimes it's still devastating. You're allowed to mourn. You're allowed to miss people. You're allowed to miss who you were. You're allowed to wish it could have been easier. But don't confuse grief with wrongness. Grief is the nervous system processing change. It's the body releasing the old map. Let it move. Just don't let it convince you to crawl back into the cage. Because the reason the old timeline can't hold you anymore is simple. You are carrying more light than you used to. And light shows everything. Light exposes misalignment. Light makes pretending exhausting. Light makes half-love feel like hunger. Light makes survival strategies feel like poison. So yes, you feel raw. Yes, you feel exposed. Yes, you feel tender. That's not weakness. That's sensitivity returning to its rightful seat as guidance. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. It is a compass. But it only works when your nervous system is not being whipped by fear. So if you're in collapse right now, hear me clearly. Don't make permanent decisions from temporary dysregulation. Don't declare your future from a moment of panic. Don't confuse the corridor with the destination. You are in the recalibration chamber, and what you do here matters. You breathe. You name what ended without shame. You stabilize the instrument. You choose one anchor. You act on it today. You let the new frequency become normal inside your body. And then reality reorganizes. Sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. But it reorganizes. Because timelines are not chosen by wishful thinking. Timelines are chosen by what your system can hold. So your job is not to force the next chapter. Your job is to become the kind of nervous system that can live in the next chapter without collapsing again. And that is initiation. If you want to walk this shift more deeply, stay close to this teaching. There are specific signs of being between timelines, and there are clear ways to stop bleeding energy in the corridor so you don't get pulled backward by guilt, fear, or old obligations. You're not being punished. You're being rerouted. Your old timeline can't hold you anymore because you are becoming too true to fit inside it. And once you see that, you stop begging the old world to take you back. You stand in the doorway. You breathe. You choose.